Hello friends, I'm Dr. Gaurav. In this video, I will discuss about Brayton cycle. The Brayton cycle was first proposed by George Brayton for use in the reciprocating oil burning engine that he developed around 1870. Today, it is used for gas turbines only where both the compression and expansion processes take place in rotating machinery. It is also called Joule cycle. Gas turbines usually operate on an open cycle. Application in aircraft, automotive, that is buses and trucks, and industrial gas turbine installations as shown in figure 1. This is the figure 1 showing open cycle gas turbine. In this we are having three components. First component is compressor, second is combustion chamber, third is turbine. Fresh air at point 1 enters the compressor where this air will get compressed, and at point 2 we will get high temperature high pressure air. Now this high temperature high pressure air will enter the combustion chamber where there is a burning of fuel take place, due to which the temperature of this air at point 2 will increase. So at point 3 we'll get gases having high pressure and temperature greater than at point 2. So from 2 to 3 there is heat addition at constant pressure. Now the gas at high pressure and high temperature will enter the turbine where it will strike the blades of the turbine and we will get work output. Now we know that we are supplying work to the compressor and we are getting work from the turbine. So some amount of work which we are getting from the turbine is sent to run the compressor. This is shown here. And after striking the blade of the turbine, the gases will leave the turbine at point 4 and the exhaust gases is delivered to the surrounding or atmosphere. So this is the open cycle gas turbine, because at point 4 we are delivering these exhaust gases to the atmosphere or surrounding. But the open gas turbine cycle described above can be modeled as a closed cycle used in gas cooled nuclear reactor power plant as shown in figure 2 by utilizing the air standard assumptions. So this is the figure 2 showing the closed cycle gas turbine. In this we are having four components. First component is compression, second compressor, second component is heat exchanger, third component is turbine, fourth component is heat exchanger. Now working medium at point 1 enters the compressor, due to which its pressure and temperature will increase and we will get point 2. Now high pressure and high temperature working medium will enter the heat exchanger where we are supplying heat to this point 2, due to which the temperature of the working medium will further increase, and at point 3 we are having working medium at high pressure and temperature greater than at point 2. So from 2 to 3 we are adding heat at constant pressure. Now from 3 to 4 the working medium at point 3 is at high pressure and high temperature. It will enter the turbine and it will rotate the turbine blade, and after rotating the turbine blade will get point 4. So there is expansion of working fluid. So when it rotates the turbine blade we will get some amount of work. Now we know that we have to supply some work to the compressor So, so some amount of work which we get from the turbine, somewhat percentage of that is sent to the compressor. So this point 4 is sent to the heat exchanger where heat is ejected from the point 4, and then the point 4 will become again point 1, and the cycle continues 1 2 3 4. So in this heat exchanger we are supplying the heat to the working medium, and in this heat exchanger we are ejecting heat from the working medium. This is the pressure volume diagram, PV diagram. You can see 1 to 2 compressor. So we are doing what we are doing. We are doing the compression from 1 to 2, and this compression is isentropic compression. In the TS diagram, we will get the vertical line. From 2 to 3, we are adding the heat at constant pressure. So from 2 to 3, we are having a horizontal line in the PV diagram, and in the TS diagram, 2 to 3 is constant pressure line, and we are adding the heat, so Q in. From 3 to 4, again there is expansion, and this is just reverse of 1 and 2 process, and this is again isentropic expansion process. So this is 3 to 4 in the turbine, 3 to 4 vertical line downward because we are doing expansion. From 4 to 1, we are rejecting the heat from the working medium at constant pressure. So here, so 4 1 line in PV diagram is horizontal line, and here it is a curved line from 4 to 1, constant pressure heat rejection. Small symbol represents per unit mass. That implies this is heat supplied per unit mass. This is specific volume. This is specific entropy. Thermal efficiency of Brayton cycle. Assumptions used in this cycle are: change in kinetic energy of working fluid between inlet and outlet of each component is negligible. Compression and expansion are reversible and adiabatic, that is isentropic. There are no pressure loss in the inlet ducting, combustion chamber, heat exchangers, inlet coolers, exhaust ducting and duct connecting components. Heat transfer in a heat exchanger is assumed to be perfect, that is 100% effectiveness. The mass flow rate of working fluid is constant throughout the cycle. Working fluid has the same composition throughout the cycle and behaves as perfect gas with constant specific heat. Bearing and windage, friction, etc. are neglected. We are assuming unit mass of working fluid. So heat supplied during the process 2-3, that is constant pressure process. This process 2-3 in the heat exchanger. Heat is supplied at constant pressure because here we are taking the horizontal line, which means P2 equal to P3. So we know that heat supplied at constant pressure is equal to, we are talking about per unit mass, so it will be equal to Cp T3 minus T2, where Cp is specific heat at constant pressure. Heat ejected during the process 4-1, that is constant pressure process, P4 equal to P1. This is 4-1, heat ejecting at constant pressure. You can see we have taken this horizontal line 4-1. The formula is, in terms of per unit mass, Cp T4 minus T1. Net work done formula is heat supplied minus heat rejected. So Q1 minus Q2. If you do this relation, Q1 minus Q2, you will get this relation. Thermal efficiency is equal to net work done divided by heat supplied. So this is the value of net work done, and the heat supplied is Cp T3 minus T2. If you further solve this relation, you get this one. Taking T1 common from the numerator and T2 common from the denominator, we will get this relation. So we get the equation 1. We know that process 1-2 is isentropic. So relation between temperature and pressure is T2 by T1 equal to P2 by P1 whole raised to power gamma minus 1 upon gamma. This will be equal to P3 by P4 whole raised to power gamma minus 1 upon gamma, because P2 equal to P3 and P4 equal to P1. This is equation number 2. Again, we know that process 3-4 is isentropic. So the relation between temperature and pressure is T3 upon T4 equal to P3 upon P4 whole raised to power gamma minus 1 upon gamma. If we compare the equation 2 and equation 3, we get this relation T2 by T1 is equal to T3 by T4. That is, we can say T4 upon T1 is equal to T3 upon T2. If you compare equation 1 and equation 4, we come to know that this value T4 upon T1 is equal to T3 upon T2. So if you put the value of T4 upon T1 here, you get this relation T3 upon T2. So common term will be cancelled out, that is this one. Then we get 1 minus T1 upon T2 is equal to 1 minus 1 upon T2 upon T1, equation 5. Now from equation 2, we know that T2 upon T1 is equal to P2 upon P1 whole raised to power gamma minus 1 upon gamma. So the value of efficiency will be 1 minus 1 upon P2 upon P1 gamma minus 1 upon gamma. Now if we assume that P2 upon P1 is equal to P3 upon P4 is equal to pressure ratio, that is RP. RP is the pressure ratio. So we can write down this one as RP raised to power gamma minus upon gamma, where RP is the pressure ratio. Next is the thermal efficiency of ideal cycle as a function of the pressure ratio. Now pressure ratio is RP. We have already defined this RP as the pressure ratio. Now we have drawn a diagram between pressure ratio and thermal efficiency. You can see if we increase the value of RP, then the value of thermal efficiency will increase. You can see here, if we increase the value of RP, then this value of thermal efficiency will increase in this way. After some pressure ratio, this increase in efficiency is not much, and the slope will like this. This curve will be like this. So the typical pressure ratio for gas turbine will be from 5 to 20. You can see in this range there is a greater increment in the thermal efficiency corresponding to pressure ratio. So this is the typical pressure ratio for gas turbine between 5 to 20. You can also plot this diagram by putting the value of RP here and assuming the value of gamma equal to 1.4 for air. You can find out the value of efficiency, and you can also draw this diagram. In practice, it is not possible to achieve either isentropic compression or isentropic expansion because of internal friction, turbulence and leakage. In actual cycle, the temperature at the end of compression and at the end of expansion are higher than in an ideal case for the same pressure ratio. If the pressure drop is neglected in combustion chamber, the actual Brayton cycle on TS diagram will be as shown in the figure, that is 1, 2 dash, 3, 4 dash and 1. So it is difficult to achieve isentropic compression 1, 2. In actual condition we get this 1, 2 dash because of internal friction, turbulence and leakage. So there is an increase in temperature. You can see at point 2 temperature is less, and at point 2 dash the temperature is greater. Because of the friction, the temperature increases. So our actual process becomes 1, 2 dash. Similarly for 3 to 4 in the turbine. This is in the compressor, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the turbine. Again, it is difficult to achieve isentropic expansion in the turbine. So actual will be like this, 3 to 4 days. In such situation, what we have to do? We have to find out the efficiency of compressor. Efficiency of compressor will be equal to isentropic temperature rise divided by actual temperature rise. So isentropic temperature rise will be T2 minus T1 divided by actual rise will be T2 dash minus T1. This efficiency of turbine will be equal to actual decrease in temperature divided by isentropic decrease in temperature. So actual decrease in temperature will be T3 minus T4 dash, and isentropic decrease in temperature will be T3 minus T4. So the formula for thermal efficiency will become net work done divided by heat supplied, and the value of the net work done is heat supplied minus heat rejected divided by heat supplied. So in this case, the value of the heat supplied is Cp T3 minus T2 dash, and heat rejected will be Cp T4 dash minus T1. So T4 dash and T2 dash will be we get from these equations, efficiency of compressor and turbine. These are the references used in the video. Thanks. Any questions you can write to me gaurav.citm@gmail.com.